Yeah, I mean, I'm mental health first aid trained, which is something I got through the MMF for free, which has been really helpful. Um, I'd recommend it to anybody who has anything to do with people who have, you know, any sort of a struggle with mental health. Thankfully, I've not had to put too much of it into practice so far, but it's good to have it in the back pocket and just be a bit more aware of certain things. But in terms of, you know, in the insurance thing and the mental health thing, Martin, like you were saying, I would always go out, get some quotes for the insurance, speak with the artist, talk about the risk with them directly, and what they are prepared to risk and what they're not prepared to risk. And you know, being completely honest, the insurance side of things often becomes the thing that they will cut off, because they will look at, you know, on smaller tours, and you're talking about maybe making, let's say, 5 grand or less or something, and the insurance is 1,000 or more, then that's going to eat into the amount of money that they're taking home at the end of the day. It's a difficult decision to make, because as a manager, I'm always worried about what may happen. The artist is worried about their bottom line. It's it's a tough conversation sometimes.
I mean, yeah, on that subject, you know, I will always say at these sort of forums or whatever, it's not whether you can afford to pay it, it's whether you can afford to lose it.
Yeah.
And again, the knock-on effect and the mental health and all the rest of it that actually goes with losing that much money.
And I think it is a conversation I regularly have with artists that I look after, where it's a proper, you're doing all the things you need to do in relation to the music and promoting a record and putting a tour together. But it's always having that conversation of, how are you? And one of my artists actually has got, he's got a registered mental health issue. So it's something, if I was taking out insurance, I would never not disclose, because he's that's part of his medical record. He talks about in his lyrics, so it's not something that he hides in any way. But I think some artists still do keep it to themselves, and even with managers, and even one of our managers recently suffered on a tour out with the artist, and she's, it's as her mentor and as her buddy, it's something that she shared with me. She was taking out a one-off policy for her and her on the band, and she said to me, I went to say no to this question, and I said, no, your premium is going to go up, but you need to declare that, because if anything happens to you and you're on the road with the band, we need to know that we're protecting the band, and and that you've got someone at home that you can talk to about it. But it is something that's coming up more and more regularly, and I think we've all seen it, sadly, with artists like Avicii, and only last week it is very much a cause for concern. And I think it's something where and even as managers, we with the team, we all check in on each other, because as a manager, it's quite a lonely job, that you're with your artist. We've got our team, but you can be having a week where it's actually a week where there's no good news, and it can become a very stressful job. And when you're managing artists, the nature of an artist is as a creative person, they are quite emotional at times. Is that fair? A lot of them, they're strong characters. To make it as an artist, you've got to be strong, but they are putting all their vulnerability on the line as a real artist. And so I think when we're dealing with that, and then dealing with the impact of trying to break an artist, selling tours, everything else, dealing with budgets, everything else, it can be some weeks quite a tough week, and I think it's important that you've got a team of people that you can call a buddy and just go, I'm having a bit of a tough week, but then your artist is having a tough week, and when we're picking them up off the floor constantly, or trying to pull them off the ceiling, sometimes it's too much the other way, and that has different mental connotations, but it can be tough. But you need to be having those conversations and knowing actually that they are in the right frame of mind to walk out on that stage. Because I think I don't know if you guys seen like the Robbie Williams documentary, things like that, you go, oh my God, I wouldn't have wanted to be that manager in that moment, and known financially what was on the line, but you're also looking at your artist's mental health and kind of going, actually, can they actually cope with this right now? And that's a big decision for someone to make. that's when you need Martin and know that you're covered.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think as far as insurance goes, anyway, any type of insurance for any of us in this room, you've got to be open and honest with the insurance company or the broker that you're dealing with. Could be on your own personal travel insurance, but tell them if you're having treatment for anything, and let them decide. But at least you then know whether you're going to be insured for it or you're not. And certainly things like mental health, because general counselling now, a lot more people are just having counselling as part of almost their daily or monthly routine of life. Doesn't mean to say they've got mental illness. It means that there's potentially an argument for us to say to insurers that they're actually protecting themselves because they're actually addressing a problem before it occurs. And that could be the same with physiotherapy or acupuncture or any other type of treatment. It doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't know about it. Don't be scared of insurance. Don't be scared of anybody in this room's profession. Don't be scared of an accountant. Don't not declare things because you think, well, I might have to pay a bit more tax on it, because there'll be repercussions, or legally, for the room company that we're sitting in. You've got to tell your lawyer the truth.
There's repercussions, right? Like they
Yeah.
won't get their policy paid.
Absolutely.